Hey all, Disgaea 7 is now available for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, and the question is whether this game is the crown jewel of the series. At least some new features are introduced that significantly affect the gaming experience. We're talking about a system called Jumpification and Hell Mode that turns your men into bloodthirsty beasts. But one wonders if these changes are in favor of the game. In this review we take a closer look at the next installation in the series and discuss whether it's worth buying. Two physical versions are available, partly the standard version, but also a limited version that offers a bit of a mixed content. For example, a book, some CDs and a mug. But for those who want to download the game in Nintendo's eShop, there is the option to do so. The price is initially set at $60. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, I review new games every week. So let's start with the online feature, where you can battle against players from all over the world. And I must say that the basics work very well at the moment. It's easy to find opponent and the waiting times seem to be relatively short. Maybe everything will change when the hype dies down, but right now it's at least easy to get a match started. However, it only seems that you can face your opponent in auto-generated battles. This means that you have minimal influence on the course itself, but you can shape and choose which men to use before going into battle. Then it's just a matter of hoping for the best. Maybe you win, maybe you lose. I actually don't know if it's possible to fight manually, where you control your troops yourself. It doesn't seem like it. At least I have not seen such a function. I might be wrong though. But as I said, this is the status of the online function right now. It will be interesting to see in a month or so if it is as easy to find opponents then as it is right now. The last thing I want to add is that the matchings can be extremely uneven. I met opponents who were both significantly higher level or lower level than myself, so I could almost predict whether I would win or not. Just look at this opponent. He is about 10,000 levels higher than me. So who do you think will win? Let's take a look. So this is a story that contains a lot of banter, ridiculous dialogues and exchanges that lean towards the frivolous side. It is definitely a light-hearted narrative, no matter how mean or dangerous someone appears to be. There is almost always a humorous undertone, and the voice acting reinforces that image.
It was divine! Your skills are truly something! Now I've seen it all!
You're overreacting. Fighting guys like that doesn't bring me any satisfaction, no matter how many of them I beat.
The game has two protagonists, Pirilika and Fuji. Early in the story they meet and form a team, however they have completely different motives. Fury is only after money and seems to lack empathy. He chooses to help Pirilika with her problem if he gets 100 million hell, which is a considerable amount of capital. He signs a contract that is not in his favor. The contract states that Fury must help Pirilika until she reaches her goal to collect 7 special weapons. So Fuji never read the fine print in the contract, and he has now been tricked into helping Pirilika with a giant mission. This is the basic plot of the game. And with that being said, there is definitely a tension between the two. How the rest of this extensive story unfolds, I don't tend to reveal, but it's at least a journey of epic proportions that leads to new encounters and the exploration of a massive world. Anyone who has played previous games in the series will hardly be surprised. This is a true SRPG where turn-based combat and strategic movement can determine how successful you will be. You move your troops in a grid system where you attack, throw, heal, buff and do a lot of other things that are necessary to stand as the winner. No big surprises here. But there is a new feature in something called Jumpification. When you deal damage or receive damage, after a while you get a chance to give a specific character superpowers. This means that the character is greatly enlarged and can now dish out massive amounts of damage. Just look at this. My hero is so big it blocks the view from some perspectives. Sometimes it almost feels like cheating, as a jumpified hero can knock out multiple opponents with just one punch. But of course the enemy can do the same, so in the long run it will be fair. Overall, the battles are in line with what we have seen before. The majority of time in combat is what we would expect, namely to knock out the opponent and move the troops in the smartest way possible. In itself, it's not that innovative, but rather an example of how to carry on a tradition, albeit with some new elements, for example the jumpification function. This game is bursting with weapons and armor. Since the enemy gradually becomes tougher, there are good reasons to upgrade and review your equipment. There are a plethora of classes, and each class can be tied to specific weapon types. For example, archers prefer bows, warriors are good with swords, and so on. The classes can use other types of weapons, but it affects the effectiveness, usually in a negative direction. But in any case, it's clear that the developers spent a lot of time on the amount of items. Right now, I have 26 different swords, bows, wands, spears, guns, axes, and monster weapons. And for those who love to optimize, well, welcome to heaven. Along with this is a feature where you can level your weapon, or any other item for that matter. You can visit a special world where you get the opportunity to make your items stronger. This world is called the Item World, and is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best aspects of this game. The stages are randomly generated, but the degree of difficulty is controlled by the item you choose, and which item level it currently has. That is, if you choose a strong weapon, the resistance will be tough. However, if you're strategic, your chosen item can become extremely useful, especially noticeable if a character uses an upgraded weapon with a high item level. It can turn your character into a real killing machine, so definitely fun to be challenged against extremely strong enemies with the goal of creating a super weapon. I would also like to mention all the extras that are available. You can improve your characters by visiting the Dark Assembly. By spending mana points, you can improve your jumping, how far you throw, or how many squares you can walk. There are also a host of other choices to make, although it's a lottery based on probability. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But it's possible to bribe the jury, so that they will be more inclined to vote in your favor. Then there is a cheat shop, where you can do a variety of redistributions. You can choose to sacrifice mana, money and other things in order to gain more experience. The choice is yours based on what you need. Convenient if you want to reach higher levels quickly. These are just a couple of examples, but it's clear that there is a lot to do in this game. Overall, Disgaea 7 is an entertaining SRPG that really puts the spotlight on character development. This could be a dream come true for all those who enjoy customization and optimization. The game is full of options with the aim of preparing your men for battle, and is presented in a way that makes nothing feel overwhelming, although there is a lot to take in. Everything is unlocked the further into the game you get, so you have plenty of time to familiarize yourself with new functions before you get access to something new. You can also expect that the experience can be quite repetitive. If you want to develop your men into real superheroes, you have to spend a lot of time collecting experience points and constantly buy new upgrades and items, but I still think there is a nice balance between playing through the item world and experiencing the game's story and upgrading your character. It feels motivating to return to the playing field with the goal of knocking out the enemy. However, what I find annoying is how to adjust the camera. You can zoom in 4 different positions, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be possible to set the angle. Even if you want to see the playing field a bit from the side, you're forced to get a perspective from above. A bit uncomfortable actually. You can work with the camera, but there are limitations. Performance-wise, this is a solid game. I haven't experienced any crashes or frame rate issues, but it's not really a game that relies on a good frame rate, because a lot of what happens is static. Sure, you move across the board, but the battles are still turn-based, so everything feels very smooth. I can definitely recommend this game, and if you enjoy the other games in the series, you should probably pick this one up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I review new games every week. Have a great day, see ya!